lives one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson.
Hey, it's your Destiny Coach, Clarita Hatton-Jackson, with Blue Flame Moments Radio Show. I want you to make sure you tune in right here to Elation Radio with Kimmy Kim to hear my show, Blue Flame Moments Radio Show. You can learn more about me at Clarita Music on all social media, and tune in to Elation Radio with Kimmy Kim.
Me a while to get to this place. I'm so glad I'm in this space, accepting all my flaws, embracing authenticity, 'cause there's nobody quite like me. Oh, I like being me. So I'm created to be original, not to copy.
Larry, are you there?
Yes. Hey, Tranace.
Hey, Larry, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am good. Did you hear me in your bio? Did you get to hear your bio?
Oh, no, I didn't hear it. No.
Oh, wow. When I read it, I didn't know. And I've been knowing you for a minute. I didn't know all of that.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah, that's me.
Larry is my personal trainer. I decided, although I look youthful, I'm going to be 50 in November. And health is wealth, and it's a part of how we stay youthful looking, youthful feeling, and that's how we make sure we can have an effective life by not only eating well, but also working our bodies so that we strengthen our mental capacity and our physical capacity and live longer. So what I wanted to ask you, the first question I'm going to start with is a couple of months ago, I was told by my grandchildren's mother that the girls were too heavy, that they needed to lose weight. So they are little kids. So my thought is this weight and height, weight and height per the doctor's guidelines. Are they really realistic weight goals, or what do you think about the weight class based on your size and your height, and how does that work?
So I definitely recommend listening to your doctor and taking heed to what he or she is saying. A lot of times when there are health issues that a client has gone through or is going through, we're going to relate it back to what the doctor said. So it's really important that you keep your recommendations from the doctor and take heed to it. And if you think that you want a second recommendation, then go ahead and get that. But for the most part, I do believe in taking heed to what the doctor recommends, especially when it comes to weight. The one thing we look at is BMI, a measurement of how closely someone could be at risk to developing hypertension or high blood pressure, or high cholesterol, or even cardiovascular disease. So depending on your weight and your age, you want to be at a certain BMI. And generally anything over 30 BMI is considered obese.
So, because I personally think when you look at, I've seen the chart, I see the chart many times when I go into the doctor's office, and I just think that the weight and the height, it doesn't always match. To me, it doesn't, because for me, a good weight for me personally is 145. I was fine 145, but the doctor considers that as overweight.
And it could be. It really depends on where you are as an individual. So if you are, your doctor's gonna, he or she's gonna know exactly where you are health wise and what your history is, and so it's important to really keep those recommendations. You may feel like deviating away from the recommendation, but overall, I would definitely stick with what they say. It feels off. It may feel off that to be able to stick with a certain weight, but you definitely want to keep that or stay around that weight.
So when you sent me the list of things that I need to be shopping for as we prepare to go into this personal training, I will say I was not very happy, because a lot of the things that I like to think that are healthy, they contain a lot of sugars, I guess. I like apples. I like grapes. I like mangoes. And none of these things were on the list, although there were other fruits that were on there. Why? Can they really have too much sugar and I cannot have them, or we should not be having so many of them to stay healthy? I mean, fruits are supposed to be healthy, right?
Yeah, and it really goes back to what you're trying to achieve, what your goal is. I would say from our discussion, I designed that nutrition plan because of what you want to achieve in terms of weight loss and things like that. Now, don't get me wrong, there are tons of nutrition in apples, but there's also sugar in apples too. There's also lots of sugar in mangoes, and so that's why I initially took those off. But you can still eat those things, but just don't. I definitely wouldn't overeat or overindulge on them.
So, because you and I have known each other for a while, and then when I was reading through your bio, it said that you had been working out you had been training for a few years. What happened? I didn't know. What piqued your interest in personal training?
Well, I would say personally, I went through some health issues myself, and I said I wanted to get fit, and I didn't necessarily want to pay for a trainer. And I can tell you that I definitely wanted to learn some things on my own, and do it on my own. I just have that entrepreneurial spirit where I want to do it on my own and try it and see what happens. And I've been very successful. I have repeat clients every week, and it's been a very interesting ride doing it. But what has inspired me personally has been maintaining my own health and the desire to help others as well.
How much exercise should we be getting on a minimum level? Does it change as we get older? Should it be the amount of exercise that we get? Is it less when we're younger than we're older? What is the minimum amount that we should be getting per week?
Well, yeah, that's a really good question. I would say that it's going to really depend on a lot of factors. One being your age, one being your lifestyle. So, for example, someone who lives a sedentary lifestyle, who come home, go to work, and come back home again, and that's it. I would recommend being in the gym at least 3 times out the week. But it really goes back to that individual, what they want to choose, you know. And also if there are any health issues that they have in the past, or any current health issues as well, and that it goes back to their goal, you know.
How important is it to have an exercise regimen? I mean, me personally, I used to walk an hour 6 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week, depending on the weather. But now my new apartment, there is no place to walk around. There's an apartment to the left, to the right, behind me. It's just apartments everywhere, and I enjoy my walk, so I do not walk anymore. How important is that exercise to your life?
I mean, it's pretty important, I would say, and because you're in a different situation now with being in a different apartment, I would definitely recommend. For example, I would come over and take a look at what you can do inside your apartment, especially if you don't have a gym or in your apartment complex, or if it's not really feasible for you to run around or walk around the complex, but with the trainer, we can come in and kind of see exactly what you can do inside your given space that you have. But it is really important to have a pretty consistent regimen, because you want to make sure that your body is getting used to what you're doing, but you also want to progressively move forward. You don't want to keep doing the same workouts every single week. So, for example, with you. It's great to do that walk every day, but what else are you doing? Let's progress and do some more. Let's do some strength training. Let's do some endurance training. Let's do more than just a walk, which a walk is a great start, though.
Well, I have a gym. I just haven't used it yet. I walk by it every day. Hey, gym, and I just come on into my apartment.
You got to use that gym. The gym is a great resource. Even a gym inside a complex, a gym inside of a complex is going to have the minimal equipment, but it's definitely something to get you started. But I do recommend getting into a full service gym where there is a lot of equipment, lots of machinery that can help guide your workout.
Okay. So do you think that exercise or even working out on a regular can impact your life and lifestyle?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been proven that as we get older, as we age, gravity is continuing it pulls us down day after day, minute after minute. So it's important to really to stay active, even if it's walking and jogging upstairs in your complex. It's important to stay active and doing something and some kind of physical activity. That kind of keeps your body moving. It keeps your muscles going. It keeps your bones working. So being active, especially at an older age, helps you.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Okay. So, I used to see a lot of older people walk in the mall, and they used to, if you go early, in many areas, the malls are open early, so the older people can walk around in the mall, and a lot of them will run you down if you're in the way. So I think you're probably right. I also would even think that it may be good for the mind. The exercise might be even good for the mind.
Yeah, so, it does. It is. It's a great way of keeping mentally focused. I can tell you, for me, working out is not only good for me spiritually, or not spiritually, good for me physically, but also really it helps me mentally as well, because if I'm on a treadmill running, then I'm trying to run off what I experienced that day, if that makes sense. So it's a really good, serene way of getting, reconnecting.
So we started off talking about diet. I don't necessarily believe in the diet or dieting, cutting foods, and it's because to me, your health is a lifestyle. So I choose not to really use that word, diet. But how important is what you eat to your lifestyle when it's combined with exercise?
Extremely important. I tell you, you can spend all day at the gym, and if you're not eating correctly, it's a total waste of your time in the gym. You just total waste of your money and your time, because you're destroying. You're putting calories back in your body that you just took out. So so having a good nutrition plan is really essential. It's really, if you want to put numbers to it, it's probably 70% of the whole process. Working out is only 30%. So if you don't have a good nutrition plan, and if you're not eating correctly, then you're literally wasting your time.
So every year, everybody says, "New year, new me." This year is a new year. Well, not just new year, but a new decade, new me. And I always think about the people that announce this. You probably pick up a lot of clients during the first part of the year, and then eventually they just start dropping off. How important is a real new mindset to this lifestyle change? Because that's what this actually is, this lifestyle change. How important is your mindset in this process?
I can say its mindset is just as important as what you're eating. It really is, because if you don't have a good mindset, if you don't know what you're going to do, you're not going to do it. So if you're not inspired to get up and go work out in the morning at 5 a.m., you're not going to do it. So it's really, really important that you're inspired, and that's why I love to do with my clients. I send them weekly text messages and encouragement. I send them, hey, don't forget to book your next session, or don't forget to tell me when you're gonna when we're gonna train next, or when you want to train next. I mean, it's so important to keep them motivated. So it's really important to stay motivated as well. So otherwise, you won't come to the gym because it is an additional step in your day or week. I can tell you, this last couple of weeks, I decided to start training at lunchtime too. So I'll be at my full-time job working, and then I'll go to the gym to train for lunch, and then I'll come back to my office and I'll eat my lunch. But I'm adding an extra step in the day where I'm actually going to work out at lunchtime, and it's at the same time it's also putting my body through an additional stress. So at times my body is like, what's going on? You're not working out during the day. So it's really, really important to have a good regimen. Really important to stick with it.
So you gonna work out during your lunchtime?
I do. I do that 3 times out the week, where I go at 11 o'clock. I'll go to LA Fitness and I will work out for a good 45 minutes. I'll go back to my office and I will eat my lunch while at my desk. It's a lifestyle. So if you want to see results, you got to get in the gym. You got to put it in. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
There's a gym not too far from my job, and I do see where they advertise that you could come in during your lunch, and I just thought that was for people who don't have anything to do to exercise during their lunch. But I know you have plenty to do, so I know you don't qualify for that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just really what I thought. I was like, well, who was gonna go to work and then work out and then go back to work? I know when I had a leave of absence for work so many years ago. That was what I did for my lunch. I would go do yoga. Like, I had nothing else to do, so I did yoga in the morning and yoga during the middle of the day.
That's really good for you. It was a recreational kind of thing. For me, it's I want to see more results, and it's really what motivates you and what gets you up. So for me, I want to see more defined abs. I want to see more defined back. I want to see more defined legs. I want to see more definition in my arms. So if you think about it, there's only so many hours in the day. So if I'm training my clients throughout the day and at night, where am I going to train? Where am I going to work out? So you have to put in work sometime in the day. You really do.
Do you, because now in the age of technology, I just see personal trainers popping up all over the place, in your area. But now virtually, do you do training virtually, and how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a couple clients where I train virtually, where I don't really see them. One's in Dallas and one is in Houston. The Houston person or client is more so work driven, but I do get a chance to interact with them via Skype, via email, via phone, and so I also connect with them via an app as well. So we have different ways of connecting. I send them workouts, I send them a nutrition plan, and we have a weekly follow up to where I know where they are with their in regards to their training. So I can still connect with them on a weekly basis as well.
All right, let's see if we have any callers. Hello, is there anyone on the line? Let's see, I had a couple of people that said they actually had questions for you when I said that I was going to have you on.
Okay.
Hello, are you there, caller? Okay, somebody said she can hear me loud and clear. Let's see if she can chime in. Let's see. Or maybe we'll do maybe it'll work out like it was last week. I had people texting me questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a text question coming because there are people texting me that they cannot get on. Huh. Okay. Well, let's see what these. Okay, she's on now. Okay. Give me a quick second because there are people who actually have questions. How about that, Larry? You ready?
All right. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Can we get through? I'm using my MacBook, so everybody that is asking, that is texting me, they are bubbling on my MacBook. You know, little bubbles.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we work out for 30 minutes every day? Wait, can we work out for 30 minutes and that be sufficient instead of killing myself at the gym? 30 minutes every day.
and that was the question?
Yep, that was the question. Can I just work out?
So hello, caller who made that question. Yes, you can do that. That's something that you can do. But at the same time, it goes back to what your goal is and what you want to achieve. So fitness is all about goals and putting a number to that goal and seeing where you are and measuring that goal. So, yes, you can work out for 30 minutes or run for 30 minutes, but if you're not progressing week after week then you're gonna stay the same way. You're gonna be in the same condition. So it's important to keep progressing. So, for example, if you're doing 30 minutes of walking each day, you should progress that somehow to where you're doing some lunges with that somewhere, or you're doing 35 minutes or 40 minutes, and your time is increasing. So it should progress. Your workout shouldn't be the same week after week.
So what she said is, I wish you could hear her because I'm laughing. She said, I just want to be sexy and trim down a bit.
Yeah, then don't we all? And you can do that. I think that in being sexy or being toned, that is really depend upon the person, what their idea of I guess sexy is or whatever, or what they want to achieve. So if they want muscle legs and a slim back, or a butt that's popping, I don't know how you want to say it, then you will have to put in work for that.
She said, yes, that is the word, tone. But to answer that question, yeah, you will have to at some point get in the gym and put in work with those squats. If you want the perfect butt, then you have to do those squats and those leg raises. So yes, you do have to get in there somehow. So I just got a text that has a picture of a bunch of questions now.
Okay.
We'll get to the last one. We'll get to the first one last because that may require a consultation.
Okay.
Give me a second. Do you do online coaching training? Yes. Okay. She was writing down your answers as I was asking. She is about to train for her first marathon. Well, she does marathons, but she hasn't done one in a while. Is there? Oh, I can't even read this. Why don't you text me, because I don't understand, because your handwriting is too wavy for me to understand it in this picture message. Only thing that I can see is the best way to train for a full marathon. Are there different ways that you train for different types of marathons?
Yeah, absolutely. So for a marathon, I would definitely engage in endurance training, because you're going to have to be, in a sense, you're going to have to be able to have endurance to keep running and not run out of steam. So I would definitely engage in some endurance training, as well as a lot of strength training with the legs. But definitely the focus for me, especially since you haven't been doing a marathon for such a long time, the focus will be endurance training, being able to last the run, being able to make it the whole way. And so, for example, a good way of doing that would be going to Memorial Park, which is a park where I visit frequently. They have a 3 mile. I think it's like 3.25 now, but they have a 3.25 running track. And if you're on the trail or track, if you start at one point with running, you can stop, but you should be measuring how frequently you're stopping, and measure the length of time where you need a break, and progressively reducing your breaks. That will increase your endurance. Okay,
her next question, I think I understand this. I want to gain weight, but also tone up. What food should I have in my diet, and what are the foods that I should stay away from?
That's a really good question. That's like the question for the agent. So
based on, I know her personally. I've known her like forever. She is very tall. We age, but she's still thin. And as we've gotten older, she's still thin. But, like you said, gravity does change the way your body is as you get older. So she wants to gain weight, but she still wants to tone up in those probably arm areas because all those ladies have that arm issue. We have the wing issue. So that's more so what she's asking.
Okay. So in terms of a meal plan, good things to eat or things that you should be focusing on eating. So every diet or nutrition plan is going to consist of your protein, your carbohydrates, and your veggies. You can also have fruit in there too. But for the most part, you want to focus on protein. You want to focus on your three areas: your protein, carbohydrates, and your vegetables. So, and if you want to get lean, lose weight, and at the same time gain muscle mass, then it's recommended to eat at least 4 meals per day. Those meals need to be really protein driven. So a good example would be lean ground beef. Your carbohydrates, your carb could be rice, brown rice preferably, and your vegetable could be broccoli. That's a good example of a focused meal. Maybe and for lunch or dinner. Now the ground beef should be 93%, 7% ratio of fat. You can eat for a snack. You can eat cottage cheese. You can eat non-fat Greek yogurt. So there are things you can eat. In the morning, you can have oatmeal and egg whites. And really, I gave you my rundown of what I have typically in my week as well. So I typically have oatmeal and things like that throughout the week as well. Oatmeal has a good amount of protein, good amount of fiber, so it's going to keep you going. And also, I like to have fruit as well, raspberries, blueberries in my non-fat Greek yogurt. And Greek yogurt is good because it keeps you full. It keeps you satisfied. Another good rule of thumb is to never go hungry, especially when you're trying to get lean. You never want to go hungry. You want to keep. You don't want to be stuffed full, but you want to be content full, or discontent. Period. So
okay.
Go ahead.
She said so basically eating about every 2 hours.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that same meal like I gave you. It can be small meals throughout the day. You can have a small portion of that, or you can eat some granola, low fat granola and Greek yogurt and fruit for your breakfast, and a small meal there, and a snack in between, and a partial meal for lunch, and a snack in between, and then lastly your dinner, and then right before dinner, you can have some cottage cheese to keep you full throughout the night, if that makes sense.
Oh, that seems like a lot of eating.
It is a lot of eating, but your body has to stay focused. Your body has to stay full. And again, you shouldn't be like, man, I'm stuffed full, but your body should be content full, to where you're not. Your body doesn't have to grab, storage fat.
Okay. Oh, so these text message comments that I've been getting are crazy. One, she said, yuck to cottage cheese. Yuck to Greek yogurt. What about Activia? You don't know so much about it.
It's really good for having lots of fiber components to it. You just have to watch the sugars. A lot of times, the name brand products like Activia like to add sugars into those to keep folks buying it. So I would definitely, if you're gonna have Activia or consume that, just watch the sugars as relates to your goal. So if your goal is to get lean, then really a good rule of thumb is that Greek yogurt is a really good way of doing that. Activia is really designed to increase fiber intake and I believe it has I believe it does have protein in it, but I believe it's really good for your fiber intake, which is good too. You want to be you want to have a good amount of fiber in your system as well.
Okay. Now there's another one. It's a really long one. Let me go back to that one. Let me open that one up again. Close. Okay. So she said, what? Yogurt leaves gritty gummy taste on my tongue. The texture. Okay. This would be really hilarious if they were able to get in. But thank God for technology. What she says is, I have run almost all levels of marathons, from 5K to half marathons. I find myself having breathing issues, like my lungs are about to collapse. What can I do to eliminate that while not only training for a race but during the race? So maybe this is what she's experienced, and maybe this is a part of the endurance thing that you were talking about before.
Yeah, I heard part of the question. Can you repeat the last part of the question?
Yeah, she was. She said she finds herself having breathing issues, like her lungs are about to collapse. What can I do to eliminate that while not only training for a race but during the race? So maybe her endurance level may not be at peak performance. Maybe she didn't train. Maybe like during the training process, there were some steps that she missed. Although she can go through it, there was maybe a part internally where how her lungs function in that training process, or even in the marathon process.
Yeah, and that's a really good question. So when you're training for a marathon, endurance, it really goes back to endurance, and it also goes back to your oxygen intake. So you want to be able to breathe and be able to breathe smart. So, for example, if you're training for a marathon, I will start off training, and I'm not sure what your training level is, or how many times you run or jog throughout the week, but you want to start a routine of running or jogging, preferably first jogging, and seeing how fast, seeing how long you can last without stopping. Write that number down in terms of minutes, and then start working towards beating that goal. And at the same time, you also want to control your breathing. There is a method to breathing when you're trying to run at the same time, and so you have to master the breathing part too. So a lot of times when you're running or when you're jogging, when you first start off, you want to make sure you inhale, and then when you come down on the other foot, you want to exhale. So it's really a science to breathing as well. So you gotta make sure even when you're working out, you gotta make sure you're breathing. Your body receives a lot of information through oxygen, through your blood. So it's important to make sure you're breathing while working out and while you're running. So definitely work on your breathing, and be able to breathe, and work on being able to breathe while you're jogging or running at the same time. And just notate how you feel while you're running, while you're jogging. So if you notice that you started huffing and puffing on your first 30 minutes or your first 15 minutes, when do you typically start feeling the anxiety kicking in, like you can't be a breath? So start notating that too.
So I got a text message that I'm going to be adding you on Facebook and on social media. So they love you, Larry. They don't love you as much as I do. They love you.
Absolutely. I love it. I love y'all too.
So if you were if you wanted to give some takeaways to moving to your next level when it comes to your health and working out, what are some pointers that you would leave?
Absolutely. So the first thing is motivation. Start thinking about what motivates you to work out, whether it's your health or whether it's you want to get that perfect body or you want to tone up. What motivates you? And then we didn't get a chance to really go into this today, but really having a good support system in place. It's really important. You said what?
I say yes.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, it's really important to have a good support system in place. So who's supporting you? Who's saying you can do it, other than your trainer? So you got to have those 2 or 3 people that's in your corner that's supporting you and saying, "Did you work out today? What you eating right now? What's in your refrigerator?" Or their friend that comes over and looks in your refrigerator to make sure you don't have any cake in there. So who's motivating you? So that's that. Have a good nutrition plan. Be very conscious and intentional about what you're putting in your body. You don't have to, depending on your goal, you don't have to have a strict diet, but try to stay as close to a diet as you can. So if you're on a vegan diet or let's say keto diet, which is pretty is getting a lot of great feedback nowadays. So if you're on that particular diet, try to stay as close as you can to it. I know with vegans and vegetarians, they have a very strict mindset to their diet. So if you're on a particular diet, try to stick to it as much as you can. The next thing is what can you do extra? So if you're working out or if you're running, what extra can you do? Can you do more reps? If you're doing push-ups, you typically do 10 push-ups. How many more can you do to stretch yourself more or forward? If you're doing sit-ups, how many more reps of sit-ups can you do more this set? How many more sets can you do? You typically do 2 sets. Well, now let's try to do three sets of push-ups, 10, and maybe 7 or 10 reps. So start progressing your workout. Your workout should be challenging but doable, if that makes sense.
It does.
And the last thing is, hire me as your trainer.
Larry, this was so great. This is almost
absolutely.
It's not as good as what it is like when we get together on Sunday. But I learned so much about you and your bio that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
I typically just I don't really like to, be boastful, or I just kind of keep it, to myself. So
how can people get in touch with you for consultation, and how can they follow you on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question too. You can definitely email me. That's the first thing. So my email is larrye.simpson@gmail.com. That's LARRYE.SIMPSON@gmail.com. And then you can also follow me on Instagram. My @ is LESJR2. And so you can add me on there too. And you can also, I don't have my Facebook with me right now, but you can also add me on Facebook as well. I'll know it's you because you're probably a friend of Tranace. So
probably.
If you're not, then make a note. Make a note.
So this is a great. Okay, so Tanya said she just added you on Facebook. So you'll have a new friend on Facebook. And this was good. I think I'm going to have you come back maybe every couple of months or so. And we're going to talk about something else about getting to your next level in health.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to, and it'd be a great way of us reporting where you are with your personal training too.
So you go tell on me, basically.
Well, because you want to role model what you expect, right?
That's true. That's true. I mean, I have a lot of things going on. I'm going to be 50 this year. I've released a new book in October. I'm back on podcasting again. I have some courses coming up. I'm going to start back working with my agent, and this is a new decade. I'm not going to say a new me, but I'm not going to say the same old me. I'm working on a new book too. So, I mean,
you better write that book.
Yeah, I got another book idea. Yep. So, I mean, this is the year. Every year is an opportunity. If you're gifted in something, if you're talented in something, there's nothing to it but to do it. I mean, that's my thought. Nothing is going to happen if you're not making any progress in it. You wouldn't. I mean, if you hadn't have had that health issue, then you probably wouldn't have started training and then start training others. To be honest, if I hadn't stopped working with AT&T, I would have never written my first book, and now here I am with 5. So things happen, whether we like them or not, to push us in the direction that we were divinely created to go in, and it's our opportunity or it's our responsibility to make the choice to do that or not do that. So.
Yep. You got it.
So with that, I guess do I have any more questions? Let's see. Nobody texted me anything. It looked like somebody was trying to call to say hey to you.
Oh, really?
But she said, but she wasn't able to get in.
Oh, well, tell her
Pinky.
she definitely add me on social media.
It was just Pinky. She was just calling to tell you hey.
Oh. Hey, Pinky, what's up?
So with that, I'm going to end like I always do. I love you. Be authentic. And thank you for letting me help you be great. And until next Saturday, good night.
All right, thank y'all.